All right, it's 2 minutes after, so if everybody's okay, I'm just gonna start. The first 5 minutes is gonna be me anyway, so nobody's gonna miss anything when they join. It'll be right in time for Peter and Emily's presentation. So I just want to say hi, everyone. My name is Karen Camblin. I am the co-chair for, not the co-chair, not that hat. I am the chair of the Virginia State Conference NAACP Environmental and Climate Justice Program. We started this program in Virginia about 3 years ago. There's some folks here that are new to this, so I'm just going to go over really briefly what the ECJ program is about. It was established on a national level about 11 years ago by our illustrious director, Jackie Patterson. And the intent of that program was to combat the ill effects of the coal industry. And since then, it's still around, so is the coal industry, which we're still battling, but we've identified a lot of different issues that deal with the environment and the climate and how it impacts the lives of Black and Brown and low wealth communities. And it has since evolved. When it first started, it was a subcommittee in the Health Committee because of the way that it manifests as some of the ill effects of the environment and climate issues manifest as asthma and those types of things, higher heart rates and cancer. So it was first housed under Health Committee. But as Jackie evolved the program and it expanded to so many other aspects within the communities, it became a standalone committee. And again, the amazing Jackie continues to build this program. It actually was it was determined to be a game changer for the NAACP at their 2020 general annual conference. And what is a game changer? A game changer is something that national NAACP has identified as significantly impacting the socio and economic advancement of Black people in America and people of color. And so it falls in line of priority with criminal justice, education, or legislative pursuits, and youth and young adults, amongst others that I cannot remember off the top of my head. I think there's 6 total. And you know, there's a lot more information about the ECJ program, as well as an amazing new fancy, really great website that National has also launched. So if you have not been at naacp.org in a while, please check us out. We're going through a massive strategic change, and we're becoming a lot more aggressive in our advocacy and our litigative pursuits. See, it wasn't me. My computer really did freeze. It wasn't me, I promise. But yeah, so please stay tuned for all of that. And thank you very much, Karen. And so we are here today to talk about one issue in specific, which is our PACE program. And I'm going to leave the major details to Peter Anderson and Emily. I don't, Piontech, I've never been able to, please correct me when it's your turn to talk. They're both with Appalachian Voices, and we, along with Frank Mosley and a few others that are going to be joining us, we've been working trying to develop a program in which we can ensure that the PACE program is implemented, not only designed, but implemented in an equitable manner, which means that this is an opportunity for homeowners within the service area of electric cooperatives to have access to financing to help them do energy efficiency improvements to their homes. But not only that, it's not only just an energy cost, an opportunity for individuals to lower their energy cost burden, but this also brings in an economic development opportunity. This is going to bring in new funding streams for small businesses to be able to do those energy efficiency upgrades and home health audits, as well as providing economic development for the locality itself in which these improvements are going to be happening. So what we're really concerned about is just making sure that everybody has access to this, not just as, homeowners within the service areas, but businesses as well as service providers. So, and I also wanted to announce this really great thing that happened recently. So the IEA, and I'm going to be really quick, and I just have to track down my notes, and I just wanted to share this with you. And if you saw my, that's right now, you'd be like, really, Karen, how can you find anything? And I can't. And I just had it 2 seconds ago. Okay, so the International Energy Agency, which is a energy policy agency that provides advice to 29 countries, including the European Commission, has released its report today. And everybody's pretty excited because this is the first time they've ever done a full scenario that aligns with limiting the global warming by 1.5 degrees Celsius. They have been criticized for years of always undermining climate change because they always seem to champion fossil fuel industries and undervalue transitioning over to clean energy. And this report actually says that if we're supposed to try and meet the Paris Climate Accord and the requirements that all that everybody's saying that we need to do, we need to stop new fossil fuels. Like, absolutely, we cannot do any other new fossil fuel infrastructure. Now, granted, there's still some things that NAACP is a little bit concerned about this report, and we're going to continue to monitor and advocate to make sure everything is done equitably, such as, well, some of the recommendations that as we transition off fossil fuel, that we go to some kind of carbon pricing or carbon capture, or those types of things, which still have equity issues. So it's not 100% yay, but it is a step in the right direction. This just signifies that the fossil fuel industry just lost a major shield, a reason for them to be able to increase their fossil fuel infrastructure. So I just wanted to share that. And then finally, the top 3 goals, and I just want to make sure that you understand that this PAYS program is 100% in line with national and the ECJ program. There are 3 main objectives for the ECJ program, which is reduce greenhouse gas emissions, encourage energy efficiency, and promote sustainability. And the PAYS program does all of this because what it does, it promotes and it supports a just transition from fossil fuel to clean, renewable, non-extractive energy sources. It encourages energy efficiency, which I said before, reduces energy burning costs, and it promotes sustainability because it's cleaner for the environment and everything. And it has a really great opportunity for economic development. So with that, I'm going to now wait until Emily takes a drink of water. So I ask her to talk. That's because that's just me. No, I'm joking. So right now I'm going to ask Emily and Peter to give us a presentation on give us more detail about what this PAYS program is about and go into more details about how it's going to benefit us. And then after that, Frank is going to give us just a little blurb about, what are his expectations as a business owner in this industry, and what are some of the things that he's concerned about. And then later on, we're going to be joined by Andrea Miller, who's going to give us the perspective from the Rappahannock Electric Cooperative. So she's actually a member client as part of the electric cooperative. So with that, Peter, Emily, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you, Karen. I see I've got the share screen button enabled here, so I should be able to do that, which I will do in 1 second. Thanks for giving us the opportunity. And Karen, it's so good to see you. I think I met you several years ago at a rally against one of the polluting pipelines, and we've been just enjoying working together with you on Virginia's environmental justice policies in addition to this PAYS program. So thanks again for having us. My name is Peter Anderson. I'm the Virginia Policy Director for a nonprofit organization called Appalachian Voices. My office is in Charlottesville. I'm joined by Emily Piontek, who's in our working remotely in Blacksburg, Virginia. And so our nonprofit is mostly in Virginia, North Carolina, and Tennessee. And in short, the mission that we serve is trying to ensure that a transition from fossil fuels to clean energy is a just transition, one that works for all people. So part of that is the opportunity for energy efficiency and saving on our electric bills. So I'll share my screen now and see if I can start the slideshow. Okie dokie. Can everybody see the slides in a full screen? Great. Okay, so this is just a little bit of an introduction to the opportunity that was created by some legislation that passed in 2020 regarding electric cooperatives using a system of financing for energy efficiency upgrades. Oops, what do I have to do? Slides here. Okay. So first of all, electric co-ops, not everyone is served by an electric cooperative. What is a cooperative? Electric cooperative, you may have heard of Dominion Energy in Virginia. They're the big electric utility that serves about 2.5 million Virginians. Electric cooperatives are a little bit different. They are run as nonprofits. They came about in the early 20th century as a way to electrify rural communities in America where large companies did not see a good investment opportunity to build out the electric grid because it was more costly to run electric wires over several miles, and then you don't have the population density, so you have fewer customers to pay for more miles of wire. So anyways, companies didn't want to make those investments, so rural communities had to create cooperatives to electrify much of the rural regions of the country a century ago. And one of the unique features of an electric cooperative is that it's not owned by investors and shareholders and run by CEOs, but rather it is owned by its customers. So if you are in fact paying your electric bill to an electric cooperative, you're not just their customer, you're also an owner, and you have rights to participate in decision-making. So there are 13 electric cooperatives in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And looking at this map of the electric service territories, the bright yellow is where Dominion has all of their customers. And so you can see that's in the densely populated areas outside of DC, around Richmond, around Virginia Beach. And then the red area is served by another company called Appalachian Power. But then pretty much all the rest of it visually on this map is one of Virginia's 13 electric co-ops. And we're going to be focusing, this opportunity we're talking about today has mostly to do with this light blue area that has little polka dots on it that basically stretches, whoops, how do I go backwards, forwards? So this area here that has light blue with polka dots, it's basically stretches from southeast of Fredericksburg all the way up to practically West Virginia. So it's a large service territory. Here's another picture of Rappahannock Electric Cooperative service territory. Rappahannock is the largest co-op in Virginia and serves the most customers, roughly 170,000 customers in this territory. So there's a lot of Virginians impacted by the policies that Rappahannock sets for its member owners, its customers, stretching 22 counties. Now what's going to happen is Rappahannock is going to be the first co-op to develop a new energy savings program that was created by that 2020 legislation. So here's a little bit about the legislation. It passed in 2020, and what it did was it set up a program where electric cooperatives are authorized to design a new tariff in order to recover the cost of upfront investments in energy efficiency measures. And so, first of all, that's kind of a loaded statement. There's a lot to unpack there. What is an energy efficiency measure under this law? And the list basically includes upgrades to your heating and air conditioning systems, water heaters, insulating houses, better sealing of windows and doors, upgrading appliances to more energy efficient appliances, smart controls, like you've seen the Nest is one type of smart control that controls your heating and air. And these things are designed to save customers money by saving energy in the first place. And so what a tariffed on-bill investment means is it is site specific. So if it were at my house, let's say I got a new energy efficient heating unit. That heating unit is specific to my location, and it is paired with on-bill recovery, which means that if I was a cooperative customer, I would pay back, the co-op would pay for the new heating unit so that I avoided the upfront cost. And then I pay them back with a little piece each month on my monthly electric bill. And one key part of the new law is that these cooperatives, in order to do this, they have to have a stakeholder process to design the program collaboratively with the interested parties, which would include their member owners or their customers. It would include energy efficiency advocates. It would include low-income advocates, consumer advocates, and the like. So this is going to be an opportunity for folks to engage in the actual design of the program. Now, one good model for designing on-bill tariff programs is called pay as you save. And at the end of the day, it's a very well named model because it does what it says it is. It's essentially, you would pay off that investment in a way that is offset by the energy savings. So if I got that new heating and air conditioning unit, suddenly my monthly electric bill goes down because I'm using so much less electricity because of the efficient appliance. And so essentially, this type of model says, I'm paying the company back for giving me that, or for investing in that new heating and air conditioning unit, but they can't charge me more each month to pay off that investment than the amount that I'm saving due to reduced energy use. So there are three essential elements for a pay-as-you-save model. Again, they were the monthly charge is assigned to a location. That's to allow renters to take advantage of this. So I don't have to be a homeowner. It would pass to the next person who takes over the account if I was a renter. And the idea here is really to remove barriers such as lack of home ownership and availability to renters. Many people don't have the cash up front to make these investments themselves. You don't want to take on new debt obligations or have to have for a major investment. Folks with credit concerns wouldn't have the same opportunity. So PAYS is designed to help everyone, not just folks who kind of already have the money to burn. So we're looking at helping low and moderate income populations with this program. I think this slide is pretty much self-explanatory, though. You pay a little bit each month to pay off the investments, but the utility cannot charge you more than 80% of your estimated savings from the investment. Therefore, ideally, you use a pay-as-you-save model for this on-bill tariff, and you are saving, you avoid upfront costs as the customer, you are saving money on your monthly bill from day one, you are more comfortable in your home because you've got that new heating and air conditioner, or you've got a better seal on your building envelope. So of course, some of the other benefits associated with this would be the creation of jobs. It takes a lot of contractors to go retrofit homes with energy efficiency measures. It would add value to your home if you are the homeowner by increasing its efficiency. And it would, of course, add to your the comfort of being in that home and lead to a healthier environment. And at this point, I'm going to pass the microphone over to Emily. And Emily, I might have to relinquish screen sharing.
Or Peter, do you want to just, I can tell you when to keep going with the slides. Does that work?
That works. Yep.
Right, great. Thanks. Hi, everyone. Thanks for this opportunity. So I'll dive right in. I wanted to build on Peter's last point about the potential for on-bill financing programs like pay-as-you-save to improve home environments and also just contribute to like the health and mental well-being of customers who use PAYS or a program like it. And so I wanted to introduce first the concept of energy burdens. And this is addressing energy burdens is one of the reasons that I'm really interested in a program like this, because it can help it can address equity concerns as well as environmental justice concerns with high energy bills and other things. But an energy burden is basically the ratio of your monthly household income relative to your monthly electric bill. And so it's basically, just how much you make a month versus how much you spend on your electric bills. And so a widely accepted threshold for what's considered to be an average or an affordable energy burden is about 6% of your income. So, 6% of what you spend a month it's seen as reasonable to spend that on your electric bill. But anything above that is seen as being overly burdensome or severe energy burdens, and those can be 11% or higher. And so that just means that, a household is paying a lot of their monthly income just to heat and cool and light their home. And so there are a lot of different factors that can affect your energy burden. And so obviously, your household income, or if you're below a poverty level, that will influence, how difficult it is for you to pay your electric bill every month and how much of your paycheck that takes up, as well as the cost of energy itself. So different utilities have different rate structures and they attach different fees to your electric bills. And so that can also influence the monthly cost of your energy bill, as well as just the overall efficiency of the home that or the household that you're living in. So, how well insulated is it? Do you have an old water heater or a new water heater? Things like that can all influence how much energy you're using. And so therefore how much you're paying on your electric bill every month. So that's energy burden. But then energy insecurity is another piece of that, and energy burdens, high energy burdens, contribute to energy insecurity. So this is the inability to pay your electric bill, or to pay for heating or cooling to maintain your home at a reasonable temperature. And so maybe you're keeping your house warmer in the summer than would be comfortable or healthy to keep your bill low, or in the winter, maybe you're not heating it to a comfortable or healthy level because you're trying to keep your bill down. So that would be energy insecurity. Another example of energy insecurity would be losing your electric services or your energy services completely because you've been unable to pay your bill, or you have debt accrued, so you get your power shut off, and there's obviously serious health implications, including mental health implications related to stresses like that. And energy insecurity also refers to kind of the trade-off that people who face high energy burdens or who experience high energy burdens have to make in order to pay their electric bill. So people will sometimes forego necessities like food or medicine in order to be able to afford their bill. As I mentioned earlier, they might not heat or cool their home to an adequate level to keep the bill low, and they might make other adjustments in the home to try to keep the bill low. Next slide. So thanks, Peter. So this is a map of the Rappahannock Electric Service Territory, and you can see that it's kind of loosely outlined in red. Nope, there we go. Okay, thanks. And so the darker blue sections of the map refer to areas in Rappahannock Service Territory where members are experiencing high or more severe energy burdens. And so you can see that in some areas of Rappahannock Electric's territory, people have energy burdens that are as high as almost a fifth to a quarter of their monthly income. And that's really unsustainable. And then elsewhere, maybe the burden isn't quite that high, but it's definitely above that 6% energy burden, which is deemed to be affordable. Next slide. And so one thing I wanted to highlight is that there are also race and ethnicity implications to energy burdens and energy insecurity. And so the data on this slide just refers to a report that was released in 2020 related to energy insecurity during the COVID-19 pandemic. And you can see that Black and brown households are more likely to experience energy insecurity. And so during the pandemic, Hispanic households were 15 times more likely to be disconnected from their electric services for the first time. Black households were 6 times more likely to be disconnected than white households were during that same time. And so you can see there's just some serious implications related to environmental justice with high energy bills, affordability overall. Okay, Peter, next slide. Great. And so this again is an example of Rappahannock Electric Service Territory, but this time it's broken down by demographics. And so the darker green represents Black and brown communities. I guess the different colors represent the different percentages of Black and brown communities in the service territory, but you can see there are a number of Black and brown households in Rappahannock Service Territory, and some of the counties with the highest percentages of Black and brown households are also correlated with some of the counties in REC service territory that also experience the high energy burdens or are low income, and so there are some implications there for affordability of energy bills overall. Okay, great. So then this is just kind of summing up what's on the slides. Oh. Okay, there we go. So 15% of households in Rappahannock Service Territory qualify as low income. So that's over 23,000 households. That's a lot of people. That's, and remember, REC has 170,000 businesses and households who are their customers. And so that's quite a few who are low income, as well as a fifth of those households being renter occupied. So these are another set of people who could really benefit from an on-bill financing program that isn't tied to home ownership. And then as those graphs showed, the overall energy burden for low income REC members is quite high at about 15%. So that's double what's deemed an appropriate or affordable energy burden overall. So just to sum up, I think the on-bill financing program that REC is developing is really exciting for its potential to alleviate energy burdens that low income populations face by making those energy efficiency upgrades affordable to both homeowners and renters, as well as offering job opportunities and workforce development opportunities and energy efficiency programs, as Peter mentioned. So yeah, that's what we brought to you all tonight. Thanks for the opportunity to present. And I think there will be questions at some point, the question and answer opportunity at some point tonight. We'd be happy to answer any questions you have. So I think I'll kind of blaze through that.
Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Peter. Yes, we're going to have some time at the end for questions and answers. So I just wanted to switch over really quickly to Frank. And if he can just give us, just a really brief overview of your perspective of some of the business opportunities and your thoughts on the program.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to speak. Excuse me. Welcome, everyone. My name is Frank Mosley. I am located here in Richmond, Virginia. I am the founder of the SEED initiative, Social Education for Economic Development initiative. And what we do is we aggregate educational information, training materials, as well as resources and investment opportunities for low-income communities of color. One of the things that really interested me about this program is the opportunity for workforce development, job training, how are we tooling ourselves for a 21st century economy, a 21st century job, green energy job economy. What is it that we are prepared to do, and looking at this opportunity as a way to empower individuals who have never had the opportunity to be a part of this type of transition of wealth, in a way that allows businesses, entrepreneurs, and individuals in the service industry to have a piece of what others already know and are aware are going to be a huge windfall or a huge boom for them. For me, as a former contractor, I can understand some of the contours of the services that are needed to be provided. As I and others that have been working on this or taking a look at this PAYS program and exactly what that would mean for contractors, for businesses, we started thinking about, well, who is going to be qualified, who is going to be trained to do the work. And as we started to look at individuals who were qualified, we weren't finding very many Black and brown contractors that were qualified. So diversity is one of the things that have been a concern, equity, as far as how these contracts and contractors will be identified, and how we are preparing to train these individuals, these electricians, these individuals who are who do have access to solar panel installation training. How are we getting those individuals connected to these opportunities? Energy auditing. How are we going into these homes and identifying the homes that need weatherization, that needs some of these transitions of appliances and other things? How can we make sure that we are not the only ones who are on the consumer end of things and also on the provider side of things, right? So we want to be able to inform these individuals about what's going on, but as we are informing them, we want to be equally knowledgeable about the information that is being distributed, that's being shared. So when we go out as contractors and are able to have these conversations about the benefits of the PAYS program, the benefit of allowing someone to transition your old electricity and the way that you're accustomed to covering the cost of appliances, hot water heaters. If you think about some of the air conditioning pains that individuals face trying to buy a window unit and installing a window unit, is not as easy as it looks. Some windows you can just pop it in. Sometimes you need some additional support for those units. When we talk about the summer, the winter time, I still know individuals in rural communities who use kerosene heating to save money. So there's a lot of different ways that individuals are trying to manage and lower the cost of the energy burden that Emily spoke about, the energy, the insecurity that these individuals face. How can we address that in a way that allows us to educate these individuals on the reduction of their current bill, the current cost, the current burden, and be able to transition to something that maybe they're have a bit of an understanding on, but not really the numbers, how that's going to add up on their as they're doing the bills at every month. How is that percentage? What does that mean? The tariff. What is some of the language? If we are as contractors are educated and able to inform these individuals, it's going to be a much easier sell. So I think that those are kind of some of the key concerns or key things that we were looking at. One, like I said, just kind of briefly recap, how is it that we are making sure that the contractors that are chosen, the providers that are chosen are trained, are diversified, have opportunities and access to the information to educate themselves and to educate the public. And most importantly, how can we make sure that the PAYS program is something that is understood by the public so that they can get the benefit in a way that wants them to be able to transition, wants them to be able to find confidence in working with these contractors provider, have them come into their home, which some may be a very personal thing, having them understand that these are things that are not to make you feel self-conscious about where you live at. Nobody's coming in to judge you. We are coming in to help you. We're coming in to assist you. And so kind of taking in consideration all those things from a holistic approach to how we can uplift these communities is kind of the things that I wanted to speak to. And thank you for the chance to do that.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Frank. And then now I'm just going to swing over to Andrea Miller. Andrea, thank you for joining us here today. And if you can give us just an overview of your perspective as a member client of the Rappahannock Electric Cooperative and your thoughts on this program.
Hi, Karen, and thank you very much for inviting me. I've been an Rappahannock Electric Cooperative member since 2012. So I was a member when I lived on a farm in Spotsylvania, and now that I live on a golf course community in Caroline County, I am still an REC member. The big concern that I have about this program is I've been going around my neighborhood talking to my neighbors. None of my neighbors had heard about this program. I live right off Route 1, and as you know, there are a ton of small businesses and large businesses that are on Route 1. So I made a point of stopping in at a little local kind of micro mall and talking to the restaurant owners, the dry cleaners, the nail salons, the pet store, the Verizon store there. And none of the people there had heard of this program either. So one of my concerns is REC is doing a stakeholder process. Who do they think their stakeholders are? And again, as a stakeholder, are people going to be able to hear about this program, ask questions, and most importantly, have input? As Frank just said, when we look at a program and we look at an electric cooperative that is REC's size, they are the second or third largest electric cooperative in the country. How do we know that their workforce, the folks who would be coming in and installing, is diverse? How do suppliers get the opportunity to say, I'm a contractor, I'm qualified, I'd like to be a part of this? As a stakeholder in REC and as part of the stakeholder process, I have a lot of questions and I'm beginning to have concerns. REC has a website like every other large business in the 21st century. This isn't mentioned anywhere on their website. They have a magazine which goes to every one of their members. This isn't mentioned in the magazine. So, Karen, thank you very much. As I said, as a member owner, that is my concern about what sounds like a really great program that, for whatever reason, is being a very well kept secret.
Thank you, Andrea. And before we open it up for question and answer, I just wanted to take a few minutes to say hi to Dana Wiggins, who is with the Virginia Poverty Law Center. And Dana and her team were very involved in the development of this program, and she has been helping working with our group that we've been meeting on a weekly basis for the last couple of months, identify what are all these equity issues that we're telling you about, really focusing on what the benefits are and trying to come up with solutions as to how best we can make sure that the stakeholder process, as Andrea pointed out, was accessible and transparent, and also the resulting program is equitable. So, there are three major arms of this whole thing, which is the homeowner having access to the resources. It's the payer, provider, so, small business and minority business opportunities. And most importantly, it's also the locality. So making sure that it's local minority businesses that have it. We want to avoid, businesses outside of the area, even outside of Virginia, coming in, taking the businesses, and with it, the money when they leave to go back home. So it's vitally important that it's a local effort as well. And I just wanted to highlight that as part of the ECJ program, that one of the two of the main things that the Environmental and Climate Justice Program is working on as it pertains to energy is prioritizing opportunities for Black entrepreneurs in the green economy. So we've been following President Biden's executive orders and ensuring that those policies on a federal level it removes the barriers that we are experiencing on state and local levels, and making sure that opportunities are made available for community businesses. And then they're also re-engaging in their policy initiative to stop energy shutoffs. And so they have reached out to the Biden administration, the Department of Energy, and is working to get rid of energy shutoffs. And COVID absolutely highlighted the importance of that policy as well. So they have re-engaged that. So I just wanted to throw some of the two main energy focused policies and initiatives that National is currently undertaking. And so with that, I did introduce Dana a little bit, and then I just went blabbing on. So I just want to see if Dana is at a point where she can possibly say hello, or I know she's.
Hi, sorry, I'm taking a break from giving my son a bath, sorry. But thank you so much, Karen, and to Peter and Emily and everyone who's been involved in the working group. I feel like all energy issues are equity issues, and it's hard to divorce equity issues from energy because it touches every facet of what we do. And so thank you so much for helping to make sure that more people understand how much is at stake. It's not always just this. This is tied to so many other things, to economic development, to advancement, to diversity, in contracting. There's so many pieces of this that just branch out into so many facets of all kinds of things that everyone should be caring about. And so thank you for helping to kind of corral everybody around this particular part of it. But these are all tied to larger energy burden issues, and energy cost issues should be of concern to everyone, not just people who are low income and not just people who want energy efficiency. And so, thank you so much for all the work that all of you all are doing, and for all of you for coming to this program and participating. It's super important that we all get educated, that we all know what's going on. And we're just one small piece. We hope that we are being helpful to make sure that all the technical pieces are a part of this. And we have such a good relationship to be able to try to bring in extra partners to make sure that what we know, everyone else can know too. So, which is part of the battle, is making sure that people are all aware. That's knowledge is definitely power in this instance. So, not pun maybe intended, but thank you so much for doing this. And I'm sorry I'm splish splashing with a little person, but thank you for putting this on. I appreciate it.
And thanks for joining us. I know it was a last minute request from me, so I appreciate it. Thanks, Dana. All right, so with that, I just want to do one teeny tiny thing. I'm in the chat. I am putting I hope that's what this is, a Google form, and if you want to have more information, please fill that out. If you know of anyone who was unable to attend but should be aware of this, whether they live within the service area of any one of the electric cooperatives, or if they are a business or you know, that they should know about this, please, please, please fill this form out, give us their contact information, and we'll be more than happy to contact them. And I'll be sending a follow-up email as well that's going to have all of the great information that everybody, Peter, Emily, and Andrea, and myself, and Frank have been throwing into the chat. So if you don't get it, we'll catch up, and I'll also get contact information for all the speakers if you're okay. I'll be happy to share that with everybody as well. So with that, I can open it up with any questions or comments. Anyone? And if you want to just, I think we're small enough, you can just turn your mic off.
I have a couple of questions. I'm John Cartmill. I work with, I'm on the EJ team here in Fairfax County with the NAACP and Faith Alliance for Climate Solutions. We have a broad coalition going here. Will this cover solar panels if you want to install solar panels on your house?
I can answer that question. And the statute that was passed in 2020 very specifically said what kind of energy efficiency measures are covered by this program. And I hate to tell you, but no, solar panels are not part of what are defined as energy efficiency measures under this statute. So it's supposed to be something that has the primary purpose of improving the energy efficiency of the premises and reducing its consumption of energy, including, I'm just reading from the wall here, heating and air conditioning systems, water heaters, weatherization, insulation, window and door modifications, appliances, and automatic or internet connected energy control systems. So that's pretty well defined already.
John, I will add though that in some states, programs like this do cover solar. And there are advocates of Solar United Neighbors who are exploring ways to expand the law so that solar would be covered in the future. So something to keep an eye out for.
My other question is, are there any priorities? Like if somebody says, I want a new air conditioner, but they've got a really leaky house, can they just get the air conditioner anyway, even though it may not save them as much money if they got the insulation done first? Or is it just up to the homeowner or the customer? I'll just say customer.
Who wants to take that?
I think the answer is that it's up to how the program is designed in this collaborative stakeholder process. So that's exactly the kind of concern that should be raised at these stakeholder meetings that the co-op is about to start having. The first meeting is this Friday, and very inconveniently to those of us with day jobs, they scheduled all of the meetings at 10 a.m. On business days. So that goes to Andrea's point about transparency and including the voices who should be included. Yeah.
And we did we talked about that a lot, and you know, we anticipate that there's going to be some kind of diversion program in which there would be some kind of structure that definitely is going to need something before it can get to the energy efficiency. So making sure, and this kind, you know, falls under what Frank was saying, making sure the homeowner knows of all of their options. Whether, so, you know, if somebody comes out and they say, well, you can't do this energy upgrade because your structure cannot support it at this time, the homeowner should know that the program doesn't end there. There's something, another program that they may be able to tap into and then come back into the PACE program. So And that is part of this stakeholder process, is how is that diversion programs going to be set up, and all of this. So so much is riding on the stakeholder program. And then with the Rappahannock Electric Co-op, it's the largest co-op, as you saw in the map in that Peter showed. And so all of the different co-ops are kind of waiting in the back, waiting until REC develops their program. And then what they'll do is use this program as the model for their programs. So any mistakes that happen in the REC is going to be harder to rectify with the next one. So we really have to make sure that this program is that they're looking to be the model program is the program that we would want other programs to take example from. So it's very important that this is where we need our voices heard, and this is where we need to get the critical mass. As I jump off my soapbox, anybody? Does anybody have another question or need clarification on anything you heard tonight?
All right, I've got one last one.
Okay.
I promise this will be the last one. Is there any interaction with like the gas companies, or for heat in the winter? I would think insulation would be a priority, because you'd save electricity in the summer and on your gas bill in the winter. Is there any is the gas company on board with this, or is that it's just going to be this electric co-op and by itself, I guess, my question.
Yeah, right now in Virginia, and Peter, correct me if I'm wrong, but the law only applies to electric cooperatives, so it leaves gas utilities out. But I'm actually from Missouri, and I know that there's a program with the gas utility was just developed and authorized by the utility regulatory bodies there. So again, there is precedent in other states. We just don't have that in Virginia yet.
I would just add that one of the good things is that in Virginia, the way gas utilities are compensated, they have decoupled in Virginia basically what they bill you from what they need to cover their costs. And so the gas utilities should not be opposed to this type of program. They should be totally okay with you reducing your energy consumption. But I imagine they will be probably somebody will show up as a stakeholder just to make sure that their interest is voiced.
Do we have any other questions? I see that Jim's unmuted. Did you have a question, Jim? Okay, anyone else? Yes, Ms. Coleman.
Yes, good evening. I wanted to know whether there's a cutoff with income, or, is it based on income, or is it just for certain, income level to qualify to have the survey done, or however you would do it?
I do not believe so.
I feel like I'm talking too much here, but I think this is another question that will be addressed in the stakeholder process. Who is eligible is a key question, and where do you set that threshold and those requirements that will be discussed in these stakeholder meetings.
Because there are a lot of senior citizens in the area, and that's why I was asking that, could use some help in that area.
I'll just add to what Peter has said quickly. So as he mentioned earlier tonight, there are several different models for on-bill financing, but the pay-as-you-save model is kind of seen as really the best model that exists for a program like this. And in part, that's because it's designed to be as inclusive as possible, so that it's not necessarily income-based, it's not based on your credit score, and there are some other components of that make it really consumer friendly, so that as many people can participate as possible. So again, because that precedent exists in other states and at other utilities, I think, you know, that's the kind of thing we would like to see from the REC program as well.
And one of the questions that we are going to want to have answered is, does REC have an existing priority, meaning they are going to be looking at customers in a particular location? Are they looking at income? What are they looking at? And is this something we can work with them during the stakeholder process? Or have they already made up their mind and they're just coming in and telling us what they plan to do? We don't know at this point.
Do we have any other questions or comments? We're getting close to 8:30. So wow, I think we did a great job, but I do have one quick question. And I don't know if anybody, Andrea, Peter, or Emily, if you can answer this, but if we're, and this is just, and maybe this is muddying the water, but if not in a co-op right now, an electric cooperative, is there something that folks can do to create one? How are they created? Is that a state mandate or?
The original rural electric cooperatives were created by FDR back in the 1930s when the investor-owned utilities were refusing to electrify rural America. So electric cooperatives currently have, in Virginia, have certificated territories, meaning no one can come in their territory like Dominion. Remember what was rural in the 1930s, a lot of that is now suburban now. So they were protected for making that investment early in the 1930s and preventing investor-owned utilities from being predatory, coming into their territory and peeling off all the suburban users. So your question, if you're not in an electric cooperative, can you create one? I'm thinking possibly not, because of why they were created. So I just gave the history. If someone knows that you could get a bunch of people together and go, we want to start our own electric cooperative, would that be possible?
I think I'm gonna have to look into that. Yeah. NAACP National every now and then does just energy training. So maybe, you know, if anybody, any member is interested in that, let me know the next time it becomes available, and they'll go into more details about stuff like this too. So that's a very interesting topic to learn more about. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm just going to give, it's 8:30 on the dot, but I'm going to give everybody one last chance if there are any comments, questions, observations that they would like to express tonight before we close the meeting. And I'm going to give everybody like 5 seconds. I didn't time it, so hopefully that was 5. All right. Well, I haven't seen none. Okay, so they're cooperatives, investor-owned utilities, and municipal. Thank you, Andrea. All right, well, I want to say thank you to Ms. Karen Jones for serving as our IT support and hosting us here tonight. Thank you, Karen. I know it was a last-minute request, so I appreciate you squeezing us into your schedule. And thank you to our presenters, Andrea, Frank, Emily, Peter, and Dana, if you're around. Thank you so much for squeezing us in and providing such informative information. And thank you to everybody for joining us. Please Fill out that comment form if you want to know any more information, particularly you, Ms. Joyce, and the your neighbors. We can definitely make sure that getting information to our senior population is also a top priority, because there are different needs as well as concerns that, to be honest, have not been a part of the conversation. And I think we need to have more targeted conversation on that. So thank you for bringing that up tonight. We have meetings on Friday, so if you or anybody in your neighborhood is interested in joining us every Friday at 1:30, definitely reach out to me and I can give anybody here the meeting information, because we want to make sure that, like I said, we mobilize and get a large group. And please take everything you learn back to your friends and family and members of your branch, and let them know about this. The first meeting is going to be on the 21st. Peter put in the registration link. Let me see if I can copy one more time and put that in. If you haven't registered for it, please register it and get on their mail-in mail-in list if you can. You don't have to be a member of REC to be to participate in these meetings, and so we really need the voice. All right. Well, with that, thank you so much, everybody. Have a great night, and we'll see you at the next meeting. Night.
Night.
Everybody.
Bye.